There we go. Now we're back. So did you get the message?
No, not on in LinkedIn.
Oh, really? Hmm. I switched it to Haiku. I wonder if that bro. Let me check LinkedIn. It's weird. It says it sent it. It says the emoji. There was an issue with the emoji.
Okay.
No, if you check your LinkedIn, there's a message there.
Uh, no, I'm in
Magnus.
LinkedIn, so I don't know if are you sending in from LinkedIn or from a tool.
Well, that's weird. Mike saw it. So you don't see a message that says, "Hey, Magnus, thanks for joining the show."
Yeah, this one, yeah.
Yeah, that came from the tool.
Yeah,
It
okay.
comes from me. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see any link or anything or name of product or.
No. It sends as it says it's me. It uses my LinkedIn. It's sending like the robot. This is the robot here. Like I use Telegram, and I told it what to do, and it sent the message to you on behalf of whatever. Like it used my LinkedIn. It used the LinkedIn API to send you the message.
Yeah, but I was asking of what kind of tool it is you're using.
Oh, yeah. It's a step. This is a droplet on Digital Ocean, and whatever the open source like tool or library is called NanoClaw.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like OpenClaw. So OpenClaw was like the huge breakthrough, right? Everybody's like, "Oh my god, OpenClaw!" But the problem with OpenClaw is it's just a. I mean, I don't. OpenClaw is pretty insane, honestly. But it was just really hard for me to set it up, and it has like some really like different security challenges to it because it's not
Mm.
containerized. It's not. It's more like designed to run your own machine for you than it is as and to me I think this sort of containerized. I mean actually the funny thing I'm running into with NanoClaw is that it's built around Claude, and Claude is kind of slow
Mm.
and and a little bit expensive. So like I'm sure there's like if it's just that my thing is I'm like, wow, I finally got a robot to work. Like, do I want to build another one, or do I just go deeper into this one?
Okay.
Here's Mike H. I mean, look, I don't know about you, but for me, the ability to do that and to basically have the robot like come and say, hey, you want to send a message to Magnus? I just, don't, or whatever, or like,
Mm.
that's just, I mean, that's like a dream come true on my end. But hey, here's Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hi.
So where are you guys at in your because you guys are working on AI as SDR sales process. What's the latest on your end? Where are you guys like what are you bumming around with now,
Mike. Mm. Mm.
Magnus, go.
Yeah, I have not. I have not done anything with that this week. Has been totally busy with other. Um, but my week has been more busy with talking with different parties about the new ISO certification, the big update, 2026 update,
What is
and
this for?
also. Sorry.
Well, oh, sorry. What's if you said ISIS certification?
Yeah. Um, um, the quality assurance regulations, the
Oh,
global.
like it's kind of like ISO, but with but ISIS.
Yeah, ISO 9001. It has a big update here from 2026. The last one was 2015, I think.
Interesting. What are, like what are the big changes?
It should be an evolution and in updating, also up to time and task about AI and digital sales strategies and so on in the quality assurance of digital sales process and so on. But pre-releases doesn't really show anything yet. And also I attended an event today about cybersecurity, and there was also a lot of discussions about the quality of and the knowledge of the people, but still really lacking. People are not up to date on the risk. And
Yeah. I mean that if you go back to that kind of like, oh look, yeah, Mike's got a robot, man. Yes. It's all about the robots.
It's all about the robot brothers.
But look, and if you go back, so if I go back to my like OpenClaw setup, and I'm like, right, so that's the big thing. Like, so Jensen Huang was like, this is the biggest tech thing. Like, in like, I don't know, like 2 weeks after release or something, like 200,000 people in China are running OpenClaw, and there's just these crazy stories everywhere because it's like, it's like super powerful, but because it can do all these things for you for work, but it also you delegate control, and it's like able to go do all these things, and it can get kind of out of hand, right? And so that was sort of, and that's kind of was when I originally deployed OpenClaw, and in the DigitalOcean droplet for OpenClaw is like heavily sandbox. It's like, because you could say, hey, I want to use OpenClaw to run shell commands on my own droplet and do things, right, and fix myself. But if you do that, if you let the robot fix itself, it gives it a kind of power that maybe you don't really want to provide. And that's actually why when I stepped back and I thought about it just architecturally, it's a small but important thing. I'm just going to show on this map. I'll show it real quick because I think it's worth mentioning, because when you talk about security, and I have to figure out how do I share my screen here, add a screen share. Okay, when there's like 4 people, and it's, this is like a really simple looking chart, but it's like the robot is separate from the tool that you use to configure and manage the robot. Like if you sell the robot, and give the robot the ability to change itself, it creates a big problem, right? But if you always have this separation where you say, look, I have this autonomous machine, and I have a set of tooling that I can use to make updates, changes, monitor what's going on in the machine, then you're okay. And I think that's, like I said, performance-wise, I have some things that I don't love about NanoClaw right now, but those are not foundational things. I think structurally, this is how it has to work, right? Is, I'm using Windsurf, and I use SSH, and I access the robot, and that's how I configure its capabilities and all those things. And then the robot can tell me about itself, but it can't change its foundational nature, right? So that's a pretty kind of interesting thing. And I don't think people necessarily really are even thinking about this at all, right? You're like, is this something on people's minds, or is this, or is this, people just haven't even gotten there yet? It's like, Mike, you got to have a little wrench behind your robot there, so you got the little thing to wind it up, right? You're outside of it, you're winding it, it can't wind itself,
No, I got to have somebody that's a Man Friday to do that for me. I have to go back to Robinson Crusoe, have a Man Friday working for me.
Wait, what is this? What is it called?
Well, I'm quoting Robinson Crusoe.
You're way smarter than I am. You're gonna have to explain.
He got lost on the island. He ended up adopting a slave from another time. That was basically his Man Friday. Became his servant. He had a butler on the island when he was shipwrecked on the island as Robinson Crusoe.
Okay.
Magnus knows what I'm talking about. He's a literary giant, right?
Maybe not on this.
I'm like, I'm sure I probably read this, or in school, and I don't remember any of it. Robinson.
Swiss Family Robinson, Robinson
Yeah,
Crusoe.
yeah, okay, I remember. Yeah, Swiss Family's Robinson. I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
I met this man in my trade show I went to about 4 years ago, almost died in Detroit, Michigan. He works for Siemens. He's a Siemens brand miniature robot giveaway toy to a robotics show I went to in Detroit, Michigan. Home of the big auto GM cowboys that make cars the old-fashioned way. But they're learning some stuff from Elon Musk lately on how to make a car that's electric, autonomous.
No, it to me that's what you just hit on is like it's the mindset shift that like some people are getting, right? They're like, oh my gosh, it's like autonomous things. Like in the digital world, and what does autonomy mean? And I don't think until OpenClaw came out, people even really had a vision.
Donald Trump dance. I think it's the President Trump dance. Now I'm reminded of it's Donald Trump. I need to put his little orange hat on him to be like Donald Trump, President Trump. Look at that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, everybody, like I predicted a year or whatever, everybody's gonna have their own little personal robot. It'll be like the realization of the personal of what Microsoft tried to do years ago with their little like paper clip and their personal assistant. And
Exactly.
it was just, you couldn't achieve it without these core ideas. Like the things in there's somebody else I was reading, they were saying that it's the claw. Like it was LLM, and then it was agent, and now it's claw. And I'm like, claw, what a dumb term, but the claw is the step. And because the claw has a heartbeat and it has these certain principles that make it actually like a person, right? It's like, it's a machine that's always on. It has a heartbeat, meaning it can start to do things like autonomously and think about stuff. And then it has tools that can reach out and do
the Adams Family vibe from you right now. Adams Family with the hand, with Tuesday.
Yeah. What's
You say claw, I'm thinking of the hand, being cut off and it's still alive. And it's
yeah. Well, no, there's all these claws coming out, there's like Sky Claw and Open Claw, and then here's the Nano Claw.
There's a movie being made about this right now as I speak. I'm thinking about a video that I'll have on Claw.
Yeah, it's like Silicon Valley 2, the Claw.
Yeah, with Wednesday in the background somewhere. Are you a fan of Magnus? I'm being very American. I'm sorry. I'm being very American. I'm referencing old TV shows from the 60s and 70s called The Addams Family with Lurch.
Yeah. I know.
Okay, next will be Batman.
That what he's got. See, I think you mixed up Swiss Family Robinson with Robinson Crusoe, but your analogy is right on. But anyway, Mike, what have you been working on? It's been since
I
last
was thinking that this week I would release to the World Wide Web of all the planets in the solar system, about 12 of them, by the way, by now, that I would have an announcement about a joint collaborative partnership I have with a European-based simulation lab partner. And it didn't happen this week because we're dragging our feet a little bit trying to perfect a couple things on the LinkedIn announcements. So it's going to be pushed out for next Tuesday and Thursday. I've been working on that lately.
Gotcha. So you're helping with like a go-to-market big blast type thing.
Yeah, we're going to have a 6-week. Well, not really 6 week. We're going to have. We might skip week. We might alternate every week and have 2 posts per week as a collaboration together the next 90 days or so. So that's what we're working on. And I've been. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of activity because my partner is very unique and he's very wanting to make sure we don't lose any branding of the behavioral science that gets applied to how people buy and decide and how they get and then basically the instincts of fight versus flight syndrome. When we see something that scares us, we either decide to fight with it or flee, run away. So that's kind of an instinctive psychological pattern that we have as humans. As CXOs of CEOs, CFOs, and maybe chief operating officers, when they get approached by an outside provider that's cold to them, they've never seen them before, whether it's through an email or a phone call or whatever, they'll either accept it and then argue with the validity of the call, or they'll fight it and go into a freeze where they will either run or just shut down. It's called the freeze effect.
Is it live? Can we go see their website?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so it's not available.
It's still stealthy and top secret right now until next week.
Okay, all right. That I can't share. I'm no more sharing.
I wanted to share the robot just to put myself in the mood to talk about it a little bit,
Yeah, so this is back to the 36 personalities.
which I have.
Yeah.
My name is Sybil.
So let's dig into that one a minute. So they have is it an autonomous, basically they've created like an autonomous identity or agent, whatever you would call it.
Most on Fortune 500 go-to-market selling, when you're targeting Fortune 500 companies, there may be up to 36 different personalities that impact the decision, how it gets influenced, and this is based on decision by committee, not by just one person to make a decision to buy something small. It's about a very large, high capital goods and services, where maybe a decision by committee which is going to be people from the level of management to director to VP to CXO and even the board of directors as well. And it's based on the velocity of the deal and also the volume of the deal as well. How big?
I get that part. So the idea is,
so it's like you have for an enterprise sale. Most enterprise sales I've had experience with, you're dealing with maybe about 12 to 15 people, but this fellow thinks it's to go through a simulation. It's better to go through all the minor characters that may influence the decision makers. It may be subject matter experts. They may be also managers or maybe junior managers and so on. So there's a lot of different flavors to how a decision can get made when a provider submits a discovery call request or a request for a demo, things like that.
So somebody comes in and they say, hey, the simulation is like, I want a demo, right? And then what do? You take their data. You'd say, you take some product data, whatever.
Most salespeople think they're very charming and entertaining. We're really not, but we make it up and believe it that we are. So it's called the charm approach, where you come in and charm them, say, well, we like you. I hope you like us. We'd like to show and tell something new to you. And also, before we do that, we want to learn more about you through an interview or discovery event. And some people will participate and some will not. So, and what drives that factor is how it gets communicated, called the charm effect. How charming can you be, and does it have an impact to decision makers as well as influencers before they engage in a sales?
To get the demo, or that's after they've signed up for the demo?
Even to get a meeting, or even get an email read, or whatever it might be. It could be a meeting. It's independent. It could be anything. It could be a meeting request. It could be an email request. It could be a phone call request. It can be anything to initiate the contact beyond a knock on the door. Hey, hi, knock on, who's there? Well, it's ABC Corporated. We really want to earn your business. Can you let us in the door? We promise we're not a vampire. We won't bite you. Another.
Where do the 36 personalities come in?
Well, that's because those are the customer personalities. There's only one person. It's Magnus trying to knock. Who's there on a door to position a charm to do something with those 36 personalities. And that Magnus may not see that as a sales guy to see all the personalities. He may not even know there are that many people involved in the decision making, but there may be in some companies. And that's where the simulation comes into play to make it a little more detailed level.
So, but what do you do with it? You're like, okay, I have a person, I have information about the person. I want to charm them into a discovery event. So I use the
traditional way of going to market as well, charm.
Well, that's fine. So then I use this insight from 36 people to craft a message.
You could, if you want, even though you may be wrong half the time. Yes, you could do that.
Well, what is the purpose of this then?
The purpose is to show how the customer responds to a relational approach on trying to be friends with you before you actually understand what really drives them, how they make decisions of their company.
Yeah,
it simulates the friction. It's called the frictional spot. It comes with the approach, how you approach the customer, and how much friction does it create? Is it low friction or high friction based on what gets communicated?
Yeah,
and that comes down to words and attention as well.
Yeah, I used to refer that you need to pass the first reactional filter, and that is on and off. either you get their attention and attraction, or you're not. So that is the first cognitive layer you have to pass.
And there's magnitudes of attraction and magnitudes of unattraction as well. So it's not always binary. It could be magnitudes as well. But people, if you have 36 different personalities where the aggregate gets to be more or less than say 25% interest, then the meetings will eventually break down. There's so much friction at the personality level.
So you're like, hey, I have a person that I want to send a message to. I'm gonna take their information and my secret charm effect, test it against 36 people, craft a message for that person, and make initial contact with the goal of getting a discovery event set up.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
the whole idea here is basically just like you could use it at various stages of the relationship, but it's that same thing that I'm using AI for. Like,
correct.
I'm going to use it for. I mean, you can run it through your 36. This is everybody's. If you go back here and you look at this model, if I put them back right next to each other, it's like this guy Morton was asking, like, where's the moat, right? And the moat in AI is around this. It's like your secret. You have a secret to take public information about somebody or private, whatever information you have about somebody, and turn it into a message that performs better than whatever your knowledge, when it is put into action, produces a result that's better than somebody else could get. And, you can charge for that or whatever it is. So that's, I guess, what this idea is going to, I mean, again, it could be,
let me get an approach to this. Market researchers have been talking about A/B testing based on message, brand, approach. Rather than go through an A/B test with market research, which is very old-fashioned, the simulation actually does a criteria to an hour or less to drive multiple levels of campaigns and approaches of campaigns from A to B to Z to come up with the most optimal campaign approach based on the personality of the company and how they buy and public information, and also how well you're
right. You could use it for a single message, or you could say, hey, I'm going to run this and I want you to spit out a whole bunch of campaign content, optimize, whatever it's going to be. There's some, like in this case, it's that super simple, like, hey, I give, it's the same thing here. Like if I run this robot, right, and I want to use it agentic intelligence, I could say, like, based on, his profile, come up with a perfect message to get him to respond to me about my content services, right? The AI is going to go out and think, right? I mean, it has some information that I've given it, right? This isn't the 36 people test, but it's the same basic idea, just at a super granular level, right? But anyway, this is where I'm saying is like, this is actually this kind of like more and more foundational topic in AI is inference cost and speed, right? I just bumped this to Haiku. It's actually quite a bit faster and cheaper, but you get lower quality results. But based on his profile, brand authority builder, digital sales. Hey, Magnus, you and I are in overlapping worlds. You help people build brand authority. I produce the content that makes it land. I'm running a launch experience right now for a handful of people. Full content sprint article, link, blah, blah, blah. My 12,000 B2B. It's only $475. Given what you do, I think it would be generally useful for us to connect or talk or whatever, right? Again, now some of this it's Haiku, so it's cheap and fast. So it's not, it's not Claude, it's not Opus quality content, right? But that's where the rubber that's where the rubber meets the road in this, right? And that's the interesting thing. I mean, what I'm curious about with these guys doing the 36 people is, are they on the frontier of AI? Like, are they building autonomous intelligent agents that are going to serve people?
No.
Or is it just old school, like LLM, like I'm going to run things. And they might be at like a super technical level of like inference where you're like doing something that's hard to do. But I think,
It's
these
just
things
so
that people thought were hard a month
that's
ago.
on steroids. Simulation is effectively taking statistics and probability as a mathematical science and building an event-driven input to output, event-driven simulation. So simulation really is more or less an emulation of human behavior, how based on the personalities and the motivators of each of the people, how they buy, how they shop, and how they make decisions on how to drive an appropriate campaign to them.
But see, I've thought maybe my understanding, maybe I guess without seeing the site, I would assume the way they would do it is they would actually have like 36 different like configured like identity autonomous identities, and then they run data against that. Yeah, so that's what they're doing. Yeah, they're creating, and then they just from the outputs or the responses from those autonomous identities, then they're producing some kind of material. Yeah,
you have to have the name of the company that you represent, what you're selling, which would be, so let's say it's Mike Horner Incorporated. The website, let's assume that Mike Horner's got a website as an ABC company, whatever we call it. Have to have the name of the company, the key core product of the company, and the offering that they can already look at as a referral to look at, and also has to have the individual, that's a salesperson as well, but they're off LinkedIn, on LinkedIn, things like that. So there's going to be some data inputs that the company, the prospect of a customer, is going to not just get from the email, but from the referenceability of the email as well. Who the person's name is, who the company name is, and what maybe one key product.
Are these guys at like a research science level of innovation, or it's
yeah.
I don't know, Magnus. What do you think, man?
Yeah, have you spoken of the number of attempts for each person? I mean, it is not enough with just trying one time for a person. You need maybe thousands of times for each person to actually get some seeing some results in it.
It gives you an idea how to approach a target market based on geography, industry sector, the size of business, based on annual revenue, budgetary issues that they have on their spend, and also, of course, their personalities of their core executives, whether it's CXOs or VPs or even directors. And it gives you an opportunity to run a simulation to understand which path do you want to drive your messaging and your branding, and how you're going to flavor that to get them to engage with you and stay with you and buy from you. So how it helps you. It's kind of like
I understand those as outputs. I'm just trying to figure out or understand, like, and I think where Magnus is headed is like there's some kind of engine that runs, and I mean, you can see like right now, if I just go have IQ go check this thing for Magnus, and it took 5 seconds, right? So if you said, I'm going to go get feedback from a fairly complex context, right? From a, and that's just going through my own bot building. It's like, where's the performance? See, what happens is you have an LLM that has to get a package of data to make a decision. And the larger the context, the longer it's going to take for the LLM to make, be able to provide an answer. So the more that you can kind of condense or compact the message that you send to the LLM, the faster it's going to be and the less it'll cost. So there's this thing where you're like, hey, if I want to make a decision, if I have to run it through 36 LLM calls, it could take with a large amount of data, and I'm going to test it 100 times or 1,000 times per person to see what outcome. It's a pretty, I mean, that's an expensive product. I mean, is this thing sell for $100,000 a pop, or is it something that people just?
It could be very large. It could be very large based on who the ICP would be to use it. But at the end of the day, people that are going to use this are going to be chief revenue officers and chief marketing officers, to how they take a company to market and enhance new markets as well, based on how they target.
The price point on this isn't, it's not like $50 a month or something.
No, it's not going to be
that. Okay, 25. I buy it.
No, you got the checkbook, brother.
That's what I say. This is like research driven, like data science stuff.
Driven statistics and probability. If we took those two branches of mathematics in your MBA or your undergraduate, you'll remember. Bayesian analysis is another way to look at it. Remember Bayesian analysis is why you can do decision tree analysis of what if this happens, how do you pair the correct critical path? It's a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think you said Monte Carlo, right?
Monte Carlo, which I love because it's gambling. Monte Carlo.
Well, yeah, I think it's a Monte Carlo simulation, right?
Yeah, it can be viewed that way if you want to gamble on your time and money.
But it's still also, I said last time, it's very important to also address the personality of people, because the bottom line, we are humans, and humans are also different. But of course you can categorize. There is some kind of personalities that's tending to be interested in different kinds of positions.
LinkedIn too.
Some industries and etc. But still, within those categories, there is still different kinds of personality.
Yeah, this would be like, okay, this would be like, hey, I'm gonna take like Myers-Briggs. What am I? I'm gonna I'm ENFP, I think, or like maybe TP or whatever it is. But
yeah,
anyways,
20 years ago. Yeah, okay.
So you're like, hey, I'm gonna go build an AI intelligence, whatever, right? That kind of represents what ENFP is and what INT, all of the different combinations. I guess how many there would be with, is it 64 in that case? Because it's 2 to the 4th. I don't know what that is. So anyway, I think it's 64. But anyway, so there's 60. Let's say there's 64 different, but possible, personality combinations. In that case, you build like a sort of profile for each of those, and then you would cross-reference that with like, you could get pretty complicated, right? But you can do smaller ones. You say, hey, there's 8 personality types and 8 different job functions, or something like that, and then okay. I'm excited to actually, like, when you actually start like to see this in writing and see that. I want to. It's fascinating to me. Like, I'm more interested. Like, how does it work? Now, are they running this already in like beta for people? Do they have real customers?
I already did a beta run with them. My one of my partners, alliance partners that I work with.
Unknown caller.
Somebody else. You already did a little beta test on it about a month ago, and I come up with results from it. I'm going to use those results to do a campaign of announcements of this being an effective tool to evaluate how to go to market as a company. At the end of the day, it's a way to white label a laboratory for research, for market research, market simulation, market emulation, and psychological patterning to go to market with an approach. With digital media, as well as cold calling to outreach to campaigning and so on. So Magnus knows about that. Why don't you talk about Magnus? You're the expert. I'm not. I'm just a sales guy.
In what would matter? Sorry, I just tested out something in ChatGPT and what was the question?
You're the statistical analysis person. Tell me what you know about data science and simulation and Monte Carlo draw and Bayesian analysis, and how at the end of those are a lot of math.
How does this really work? Yeah,
math drives the outcomes of behavior. To buy, which is embrace the chart, or to be frozen, which means that you are so scared that you're shocked and you can't move. You're in a state of shock, the frozen state, which is a shutdown for the sales call. For that,
if you're talking about the sales representative. If it's a salesperson that froze, you mean, or the customer that is frozen?
Customer's frozen, not the salesperson.
Customer's frozen. Yeah, then you're certainly doing something wrong. But the cognitive approach is everything. It's everything about the person. As I see it in sales, and all the years I have been doing this direct sales and mostly business to business sales, the first questions or the first part of a sales conversation is to understand what kind of person is it that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to a model here to, in the end, what is the messaging or what is the question that in the end will matter for this person? What emotion do I need to touch for them to decide to buy? So that is something you have to plan. That is a basis layer in the sales process that you have to address from the beginning. So very important, and that is something that many salespeople miss out in the sales process. So,
Absolutely. We do miss out on a lot of stuff because we're busy thinking about ourselves too much as salespeople rather than the customer.
yeah,
It's kind of like dating. Remember when you all were single and you went out to find a wife to take to a dance? You were focused on talking about yourself too much and not enough about the woman. Same thing. At least that was my experience in dating. Mary Goldbrennan was a different dater than me.
You know, I'm gonna say this, okay? In all of this, so I saw this coming, and I should have like realized it. That I'm so excited about my robot, and I put so much effort into it, and I just want to be done and be like, I built the thing, and I realized that I'm gonna have to build it again, and this is the one factor in all of this. We're talking about it with this stuff underlying what you're, these 36 people, and what's the cost of this for people is the cost. And this is just this culmination of, I think, like advances in crypto and digital monetization, and just even around the terminology and all these things, blockchain, all of this come together to where, because they can, everything in AI is consumption based. So anyway, I'm like, okay, I love my robot, and I'm already out of Claude credits. Okay. And so you can burn through when you start doing real AI work.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about analysis with you all the time. I want to know if you're going to spend $500 a month with this Tim Bot, or you're going to spend $50 a month. I really want to know that.
The infrastructure cost is $32. Okay.
Right now,
run a server.
Credits, though. How many credits do you get on $32?
No, the infrastructure cost is just like, what's the cost to run a server?
Yeah, the consumption cost is where the factor comes in.
No, it's called inference cost.
Yeah.
And at first you're like, oh yeah, inference, like it doesn't, you just like, what is inference cost? Inference cost is that tokenized cost every time you go and ask AI to do something for you, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't it just absolutely aggressively manage inference cost, you'll be like, oh, I built this amazing thing. It's doing all these cool things for me. And the more that I do, the more that it costs. And then you get into this ROI evaluation. So I'm like, I'm not paying, so it was funny because I didn't like, what's really great about the NanoClaw setup is it was easy to connect, the tools, all this, but you really can't separate it from the Claude API environment. Like it has to go talk to Claude all the time, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, I can either rebuild NanoClaw to use like Ollama locally or whatever it is. It's like, I'm like, wow, here we go. I'm like, I'm going to be on like rebuild number 4 or 5 here, but when I'm done, I'm going to have something that actually, operates in it. But yeah, I think that's something that, as you guys are building and looking at, what are you going to do? And if you're going to get into automating, oh yeah, exactly. You're going to build some Bears dev, man. Mike's going to make some money.
This should give me $5,000 of revenue right now.
Exactly. Wait, hold on.
With you.
This thing was. I love this thing. These guys got so much. Did they send you one of these?
What the heck is that? I don't have one of those. I do. I don't wear it. Yeah. I don't get cold up here in Texas.
Oh yeah, you're right, man.
Brent needs to send you something like that.
I actually came up with something interesting from ChatGPT right now. In addition to this 36 characters, also, can I share my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm not the steward of the screen. I'm doing a lot of product placement. I'm sorry, just an advertiser. Go for it.
Yeah. Let's see.
I got toys on my desk. I'm sharing with you.
Do you see what I'm sharing? At the
Not yet.
moment?
No,
Not yet. Okay.
not yet.
Let's see. Okay, I need to share something different here. How about now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe a little slow.
Do I have to? I think I have to enable it.
Oh, look at that.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh, that's beautiful. What is that?
that is a creative work. Do you see now?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. So what I did ask here from the beginning was, yes, question. When it comes to sales performance, what are the big personality types you need to address what emotions that will be the turn point for the sales conversion? So it gives, but it showed me a table down here, so I think that's enough to show.
That's about right. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
So this is what I mean here. Now I not totally agree about this personal tendencies, but the principle of it. So here they explained about the driver, the analytical, the relational, the visionary, and the important thing is to show they have different emotional triggers, and also what will convert them.
Yeah.
So this is also something that this research need to address when we're talking about different roles or industries in this buyers analysis. Does it make sense for you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
What about Go Bin?
Sorry.
Yeah, it does. And I think this is where it gets sort of interesting, like in terms of like the agentic intelligence or whatever, right? So like when you can produce this kind of intelligence, like, and then feed that to, so like, as I'm understanding, like what is an LLM, right? Sorry, I'm gonna adjust here. The what's an LLM? What is this agentic intelligence doing? Whatever, right? The ideal situation isn't just to do it for your own research; it's to use that research to condition decision making, right? And so if you can plug that in and say, hey, based on the information I have about this person, how do they fit in these profiles, and what kind of responses are appropriate in this situation, then you can use that in an actionable way to create better outcomes.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, for me, at the end of the day, if intelligence doesn't lead to improvements in outcomes, then what's the point of it, right? You're like, hey,
Yeah.
I got more, I ran AI and did all this stuff, and still nobody wants to buy my, or and I didn't change, I didn't improve. Or now the challenge is going to be is that the enemy or whatever, the other guy has the same intelligence, right? So there is this sort of weird thing that you get down to, which is like, hey, I use AI to be more intelligent about communications, but then the other guy does it too, and we're all still competing for attention, and to some extent it's a zero-sum game, right? Like there's not a completely finite number of buyers, but it's a sort of roughly finite amount of like, gold in the world, you could call it. And if you again, it sort of at least looks like a zero-sum game to some extent over in a short period of time. Technology provides an advantage, but then pretty quickly everybody else has the same technology, right? Like what's stop, like you can run this, but what's stopping the next guy from buying the competition from buying it? And you're still both competing for the same amount of dollars, right?
A good analogy is everybody's using CRM systems and Salesforce automation systems, and they're using a variety of them, and they're all trying to use the tools to be more effective to manage their touch points with the customer, as well as the how they manage the customer life cycle when they buy or shop or cross sell, upsell, whatever it might be. So everybody, and 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, the CRM systems came out of Telemagic to Act to to HubSpot, and then Salesforce automation took on with Siebel and Tom Siebel from the great guy from Oracle that went off and did his own Siebel company. Then you have the guys over at Salesforce as well. Everybody's trying to do the same thing from the old-fashioned point of view, which was driving automation, number one, then optimization, then data analytics to analyze the insights of what they can see in their processes, an engine to tune it up and make it go faster and with less maintenance. That approach is still valid, but now what we're doing with simulation or AI, we're looking to go beyond automation, go beyond optimization, go beyond the learning curve of continuous learning to actually drive a pervasive state of learning, even at the raw level, at ad hoc level. So it's kind of an upside down world of automation where everything is in a state of setting it being called artificial intelligence to become your wingman, get the dance at the bar with the tall lady with long legs that has blonde hair. I don't know.
The important relevance, I think, between using digital sales strategies and comparing to human sales is that firstly, you meet a challenge when it comes to traditional digital sales strategy, because you will not be able to see the reaction, the body language, or get any questions from the customers end, as in a real live sales meeting or a physical meeting. And that's putting a lot more challenges for sending out a video or an image or a text in sales automation. But you need to really understand who is the most likely kind of personalities and roles and personas that your ICP exists of. But when you do the same and you train an AI SDR or BDR, the better you train them on all the levels that a salesperson actually needs to know about knowledge, about personality, interest, and everything that is likely more to actually have a good cognitive connection with the audience. So that is what I think interesting, because the challenges with using human sales, which I have been for 40 years, is it's really vary the effect. I mean, even if I train a human in the best ways of different kinds of sales techniques, closing techniques, and etc., the result from each individual, the human sales, will very much vary in results. But if we train an AI SDR, they will always, from each call or each communication, they will always perform the same. And that is something I think not so many of the sales managers or executives in decision making or sales management understand. So they miss a very big opportunity of if they don't really trying to experiment or test it out or understand how it's understanding the opportunities that it lies within using AI as a sales representative.
Interesting. Yeah,
No,
it's
it
like
is interesting. I mean,
lollipops at a dental office. It's the AI is still growing up. It's still not yet a grown up. It's probably the best.
Yeah,
thing
only the beginning, even if if it has been here for a while.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Although Tim Bot is doing really well as a teenager, I would call Tim Bot your Tim Bot as a teenager.
I just
It's
I
not the-
still am going to circle back to we're all victims of the credit economy, and as you start to go dive deeper into this rabbit hole, you're all going to realize what we just signed up for, man. Everything in our life is now going to be metered. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I want, do you want a 5-token hamburger or a 6-token hamburger based on the size of your burger or whatever, whatever it is, it's all going to be like, do you want the robotic cleaner to come to your house for 1 hour a week or for, be there all day and you're going to pay for every minute, everything it's going to be a completely like sort of this digital incremental consumption experience. Yeah. So, but no, this is awesome, guys. I'll when I get some more tokens, I'll spin this up into a really cool article. Magnus, Mike, last words?
No, not really.
Yeah, and end it here.
No, wait, I think we're good. I'm gonna fall asleep. I can't.
Like Magnus showing us stuff. I really like that. I'm gonna show you one. Give me a shot of the screen. I'm gonna show you something real quick.
I think you just gotta share something and then we'll.
Okay, let me try that real fast. Just a second.
Hit us.
I'm gonna hit you up real fast. Hang on. It's a preview of a video I'm working on for a teaser for marketing simulation. Just a second. And I'm not going to show the whole thing because I'm still working on it. So I'm going to share this real fast. Let's see. Maybe I'll share this one. Hang on. No, not that one. This one. There we go. Now I go back to sharing. What are you? Oh, I gotta go back to this. Let me share something here. Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
That's the freeze. The live human being of the digital twin is breathing and heart beating, hoping that sales call is going to be great. It's going to be a great, charming experience. But what ends up happening, he goes into a state of shock and freezes.
Wait, hold on. I got to turn your screen on here.
And then it's frozen. Did you see it?
No, play it again.
Only the frozen.
Oh,
play it again.
What do I got to do on my side?
Now hit play. Yeah.
Okay. There you go, man. There it is.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. My analogy of being in a receptive state as a CXO stakeholder, breathing, heartbeats going, open to hearing from a sales call until that sales call goes wrong. And then it's a froze. There's a freeze and a freeze out. Then the relationship is gone. It's dead. Flatlines. It's an analogy. You'll see it next week. More of it next week. I'm still working on it.
Yep. Okay.
You
awesome,
still there?
Guys. Super appreciate it. Let's go make some money.
Yeah, it's all about money and fun and everything else, and then product placement as well, such as Frisco. City of Frisco is a great.
We need more shameful self-promotion. All right, 201. I'm wrapping up. I need to fit a wrap-up video from now on. Here, I'm gonna play the
put your best video up. I just gave you one. That's
All
great.
righty, guys. Good stuff. Thanks, guys. I'll
Hope
send
I
you
didn't-
I'll send you the
Hope I didn't
material.
bore the hell out of you guys with my pitter patter talk.